Well, welcome everybody to this next session at FII, and thank you very much indeed for joining us. Our special guest in this conversation is several things. They're an entrepreneur, they are an educator, and they are also an investor. And we will hear different aspects of that as we go along. Of course, probably best known for being the founding partner of Globis Capital Partners. If we turn back the clock to 1992, the Globis Management School was started. And just remind us about the mega budgets you were working with back then, sir.
Sumitomo Corporation.
Yes, but also the budget in the bank at the time. It wasn't millions for the management school.
Only about $700,000, and very small.
Very small indeed. So from that, Globis University is today the largest business school in Japan. Since 1996, Globis Capital Partners has deployed over $2 billion across 7 different funds. Our honored guest is, of course, Yoshito Hori, who, amongst other things, owns a basketball team, founded a music festival, and was honored with Japan's Blue Ribbon for public service. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Yoshito Hori. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Hori-san, thank you for being with us here today. We're going to speak about Japan and about great Japanese exports and gifts to the world. Did you know, sir, that the Japanese Eiden, that long-distance relay race, has recently made it all the way to the United Kingdom?
Oh,
have you ever taken part in one?
Well, when you were a kid, you have to participate in Eiden. You compete in high school and junior high school, and also among the classes. Therefore, Eiden is quite popular, and you have to run so fast. At the same time, it's a team effort.
Yes.
You always have to contribute to teams, and
doing things together. Now, we'll get across Japan in a moment, but as that school child, what were you like as a school child?
Well, in school, I've had all my education in Japan until university, except for 1 year in Sydney, Australia. But my childhood in Japan was a good fond memory, and we have a very good discipline system, and the educational curriculum is quite rigid in a way that people have to calculate, write, and read, and you have a very strong morale being built, and so I liked it so much.
Well, education went on to be such a part of your career, as we will touch on. For our guests here in Saudi Arabia, help us to think about the Japanese economy today. How do you see things?
I think Japanese economy is quite good. Well, the past, let's say, 20 months, less than 2 years, stock markets have jumped more than 50%, and it has overpassed the past record in bubble time. So stock markets are good, and companies are making record profits for 3 years. So therefore, you can see the unemployment rate is low, labor shortage is a problem, and we don't have that high inflation like the US, and therefore we should say that the economy itself is quite good in Japan.
And you use that phrase the last few years. That suggests to us a potential turning point. What do you think might have triggered that change in affairs?
Well, if you look around G7 plus Russia and China, like 9 countries which are running the world, let's say, and out of 9 countries, Japan has the most stable government, the most stable society, and also good economy as a whole. And therefore, when I was in, let's say, 1990s in 20,000, Japan was the world representing bad country. But now Japan represents a very moral and role model for the world. It has a stark difference. It's a totally big difference. It started by Abe administration in 2012, and then Japanese government and also what we call G1 community, our initiative, has worked hard to make Japanese society, government, and at the same time culture and entertainment and sports.
And it is, if you ask the young people across the G20, the countries they look to admire their values, Japan close to the top of that list. How do you think Japan today is positioning itself in the world economy? What does it want to be known for? How does it want to be seen?
Well, I mentioned about the past. Japan, there was a Japan bashing in bubble time. And then after Japan bashing, there was a called Japan passing. People passed Japan. And after that, there was a word called Japan, nothing. People didn't care about Japan for a long period of time. However, after a period of time that worked hard, Japan was known for the best destination for tourists. We have more than the second largest industry in Japan is tourists.
Yes.
No, it's only not only best after only second after automobile industries. And so you can see that there are more and more interest coming into Japan. And I heard you came to Japan for 3 weeks.
I spent a month there last year with my family, highlight of the year.
For the first time.
The advert. But if we think about Japanese ventures
Yeah.
today, businesses, where do you point to strengths in that? And then, of course, I'm going to ask you what needs improving.
Well, I would say that the two strengths of Japanese economy as a whole, and I'll talk about startups later on. The first strength is that we don't have natural resources like Saudi Arabia. We don't have oil. We don't have any natural resources at all.
Yes.
But we have human resources. We have invested heavily into education and human resources which are hardworking, diligent, and high moral and sincere. And you came to Japan, you know that everything is clean, safe, punctual, and orderly, and service quality is high, and attention to details and commitment to quality. Number one priority, number one reason why Japanese economy is strong is human resource.
Yes.
And they have a good teamwork as well, collaboration, number one. The second is about innovation, technology innovation. Whenever technology comes up, Japanese company adopt. If you compare to the US company like Kodak versus Fujifilm, Kodak went bankrupt. Fujifilm still exists.
Yes.
Film is gone, but they have a different technology. And so they have transformed itself to a totally different company.
And on the flip side,
Yeah.
if you're giving a pep talk in the, in the changing room, as it were, to Team Japan, what needs work? What needs focus?
Well, what is what? What is need?
What? These are things to be proud of so far, and some of the highlights. But what needs work if it's not to slip behind?
Well, we just have to keep on investing into technology, like AI. And also, AI is going to be a game changer. And so therefore, we just have to keep on investing into technology. At the same time, we just have to keep on investing into education, and human resources, technology. And at the same time, we always have to be engaged to the world. And we just have to be always looking overseas for expansion. And then Japanese people tend to become more inward looking.
Yes.
And domestic focused. But we just have to be going global. That's why we always have to think about
Outward facing. So if we were to think about Japanese business principles or broader life principles that you have abided by or recognized that you think could be useful for the world to understand a little more, where would you take us?
Well, if you compare, I went to Harvard Business School, so I've learned a lot about businesses in the US. If you are to prioritize in the US companies, number one is shareholder. Number two maybe is customers. Third maybe employee, and third is social responsibilities.
Yes, for in that order.
In Japan, number one is employees. Employees are most important. Number two is customers. Customers is God. Third is obviously it's a society. We pay lots of respect to society. And fourth is the shareholders. Shareholders come last, which is not good for like Harvard Business School. But it's reality, employee, customer, and social impact. And the Japanese companies is always thinking about social responsibility. And then there was an old saying in Japan called Sampo Yoshi, which means good for seller, good for buyer, and good for society.
Yes, it's the match.
Yeah, you always have to think about the society. And then therefore we have a high responsibility. So whenever crises happen, whenever natural disasters happen, Japanese companies send delegates, contribute a lot for free of charge.
And that thought of rallying together across different groups fascinates us here at FII. You convened the first G1 summit, which led to a foundation. Just explain in a nutshell, that was about identifying things that could be done. Tell us more about it.
Okay, I went to Davos in 2004 and 2005, and I saw the presence of Japan declining so heavily. And India and China was coming up, and Japan was nothing that time. And I thought I should do something for Japan. And I'm starting up business school to educate leaders, and at the same time, I'm investing for startups, for creating industries. But I thought it was not enough. So we have to do something to fix the government and the policies. And the only way to do it is a multi-stakeholder gathering, this like FII, bringing in politicians and also business.
So what happened?
And then we came up with a vision, like a vision 2030. And then we started a vision called Vision 100 Action.
Yeah.
All of us, the members, gathered for 4 years and write the vision of Japan, what we call 100 Action.
Okay.
And that we have implemented. We had 4 prime ministers who are the members of G1 Summit. Abe, Suga, Kishida, and Shiba, they all attended. And we collaborated with the prime ministers as well as ministers and also with all the bureaucrats for the vision and what kind of action can be taken. That's what we have been doing.
And this is 100 actions. It's such a
that's
powerful example. Can I give you one other word in terms of principle,
Sure.
which some of us will have looked at, which is kokorozashi.
Okay.
It's a bit more personal perhaps, but tell us more, we'll learn.
Well, we know about ikigai. Ikigai has become English.
Yes.
Ikigai is more about present and also what you want to do for yourself, for your inward looking. Ikigai is good, enlightening word for individual. Kokorozashi is a forward looking, future looking. What you want to achieve in your lifetime. It's more like a personal resolution.
Yes.
And thinking about why you were born and how you want to pursue your life for, how you want to use your life. And the kokorozashi is something of the resolve that can be achieved only in 20 or 30 years' time. And then
I don't think I'd be doing my job if I didn't ask you what your kokorozashi is.
My kokorozashi is simple. Number one is to create innovative societies by create innovative societies by people capital knowledge. People is business school. I founded business school from scratch, and it has become number one in Japan in terms of the scale. And I also founded venture capital, which has become also number one in terms of reputation and return. And then that's what I want to do. I mean, this is like creating Stanford Business School and Sequoia Capital under one umbrella, and creating an ecosystem of Japan for startups.
And you've talked about it. You've talked about it as the 3 primary colors: people, capital, knowledge.
That's
so
right, yeah.
on the economy, I think this is clear, the impact you're having through the funds you've deployed, through the entrepreneurs you're backing. What impact do you think you are having on Japanese society?
Well, this year I brought 10,000 yen note.
Oh.
This is fun. The face of the 10,000 yen note, the old one, was Fukuzawa Yukichi, who started education institutions like Globis. And then new face is Eiichi Shibusawa, who founded startups in Japan. So I always say in a joke that future of the face of 10,000 yen note will be Yoshito Hori.
Watch this space.
For that time, we may not have like a paper note any longer because it could become digital.
So that leads us to a question, though, doesn't it, about role models?
Okay, sure.
How do you think entrepreneurs are seen in the Japanese society today?
Well, it used to be that entrepreneurs were not respected. Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, Sony, Honda, all of them were respected. But nowadays, best and brightest, like I have 5 sons, and all of them want to become entrepreneurs. And so entrepreneurs have become more and more respected. We have Masayoshi Son-san here as well, and then he is also very respected. And very smart people entered this field of entrepreneurship, and they have become successful, and they have become the owner of professional basketball, professional baseball teams, and they are high profile, and they are voices for the people as well. And they're changing and transforming. They have become the role model for youngsters.
And that is a shift. I wish we had an hour. We've been given 15 minutes today. So in our final moments, what do you think Japan needs to get right in the years ahead if it is to thrive?
Okay. One thing comes up to my mind is politics and geopolitics. Well, we have to have a very good relationship with the U.S., so it's either Trump or Harris, we don't know. At the same time, we have to have a very good, stable relationship with China, neighboring country. And that kind of politics is going to be so much important. For the stability of the economy, we need to have a very good politics. Second is that for the Japanese companies to do right, we have to keep up ourselves with innovation, investing in human education, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
If we keep on doing it, we should be fine.
Right. On that note, my final question is again personal, although we're talking about a whole economy here. You're at the stage of your career where you could sit back and do almost nothing, enjoy what you've created. What keeps you going?
kokorozashi. Kokorozashi. I wanna, I wanna contribute to society as much as I can. As long as I live, if the society wants me to do things, I will be there to help and support anything that I can do.
Thank you for what you've created, and thank you on behalf of us all for what you continue to do. Yoshito Hori, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Hori.
Thank you.
Very good.